So in terms of our audience, we have quite a diversity. We have university students, but we also have a select number of college students doing A-levels. So do you have any tips for a college student who is still deciding on what university course degree to do, or whether they should go down the apprenticeship route?
I'll just give a very quick background first. I wanted to do an apprenticeship with KPMG in audit. I spoke to my economics teacher, who was an examiner for the ICAEW, and his son worked in the Big Four. And he gave me the advice to go to university first, and then I ended up working KPMG in audit. Somebody in my class, in the same class, asked the same teacher, was given the same advice I was given, but ended up doing an apprenticeship. And when I joined KPMG in 2016, he'd already been in the department for 3 years because he just didn't go to university. So at the time, I sort of thought to myself, well, I've clearly made a mistake. I should have done the apprenticeship. I've got £27,000 of debt. I mean, I didn't necessarily have it in debt, but I paid £27,000 for my degree. So that's sort of how I saw it. When I then worked with apprentices, I came across two sort of types of apprentices. The first was somebody who, at the age of 18, was mature enough to go into the world of work, and therefore not going to university, saving £27,000 was a fantastic decision. I then came across other students who were very intelligent, and that's how they managed to get into the Big Four, but they weren't mature enough to go into the world of work. They either didn't enjoy it, they didn't pass it, because what you've got to remember is you've got to break into the Big Four as where this whole event is about. You've then got to stay in the Big Four. If you don't pass your exams, you're going to get fired very, very quickly. So a lot of these students ended up either resigning or leaving or not passing exams. So, without not giving a yes or no answer, if you are mature enough to go into the world of work at 18, I would definitely recommend avoiding university, because, like I said, I ended up in the same position as my friend Robbie Stanyland, but he just not gone to university and avoided that cost. And he had 3 years of extra experience. At the same time, I believe myself, I don't think I was ready for the world of work. So I think it was a good decision for me to go to university first. So you really need to take a hard look at yourself, speak to members of your family. You can even speak to us at Grad Gurus, for example, and I can, to be honest, give a very quick assessment. I mean, my younger brother, for example, went into the Big Four as an apprentice, and it didn't necessarily work out very well because he didn't have maybe that maturity. So it's not very difficult, really. You speak to family, speak to friends, speak to us at Grad Gurus, and we can give you a very quick assessment. But if you are mature enough, avoid the £27,000, avoid wasting 3 years on studying, for example, chemistry, which you may not utilize for the rest of your career, for example, or like French or some sort of language or whatever. At the same time, you might not be ready for the world of work. You might study chemistry, learn some useful skills, then go into the world of work, and you can pay off your student debt within a few years' time. So really it depends on you yourself. And like I did, I spoke to my economics teacher. I would try and speak to somebody who's in the Big Four, and they should be able to sort of judge you from your character, your personality, your maturity level, whether you're ready to go straight into an apprenticeship.
Can I just add one thing on here is, definitely the right answer, that you need to be mature enough, otherwise there is no way you will survive this. One other thing I wanted to say was that, having been counselor to some of the people who have joined, both grad and the other way around through apprenticeship, I think you need to be 100% sure, or at least 95% sure, that this is the career that you want when you come in. That yes, you may be very, very mature and you can handle the corporate environment and stuff. Sometimes you just join and you might get bored of accounting or whatever else. So please do talk to Grad Gurus or anyone else, and please make sure that if that's the route that you're taking, committing 5-6 years of your life at that point in time is not an easy decision. And yes, it's economically very beneficial, and you'll get all the support that you want, and there will be other people in the same position as you. But if you, I had no idea even when I joined university what career I wanted. I had no clue. There is no way I could have taken that decision at all at college as to join Big Four, or let alone any other company. But it is amazing. I've seen people who have performed so well and saved a lot of time and money and come through the ranks, joining through those routes. And on the other hand, I've seen people who just realized that that wasn't for them, as Ahmed was saying as well. So please be sure that this is what you want to do. And if you are sure and you're definitely mature enough, then there is it's a no-brainer pretty much.
Yeah, thanks for both of you. Just to kind of add on to that as well, as a college student, you do have a couple of options to get into the Big Four. Ahmed touched on the school leaver program, but there's also, I'm not entirely sure what the name is. I think it's like a funded degree. So the Big Four have partnerships with a number of different universities, and they'll fund your degree. So accommodation and obviously your tuition fees are paid for. And I think during the summer you'll do like internships / placements. So that's a very attractive option as well, kind of almost like the best of both worlds. You get that university experience, but also financially it's quite a sound option as well.
Yeah, sorry, bro. I'll just add on a very quick point onto that, which is that the government introduced the apprenticeship levy, which is that all of the Big Four, 5%, or basically a very large sum of money. I mean, we're talking 20 or 30 million pounds has to be spent by each of the Big Four in taking on apprentices. And if they don't spend that money on apprentices, they have to pay that in tax. So if you're KPMG, you either have to pay 30 million in tax to the government, or you can employ, if you're paying apprentices, say £20,000 a year, you can employ, I don't know, a few hundred apprentices. Now, this is not advertised, but actually, you don't have to be as, the requirements to be an apprentice are less than a graduate. So, people who are getting Bs at A-level might have struggled with the graduate application, but actually might be accepted into the apprenticeship application. So there's even really, you could actually say it's easier to become an apprentice because of this levy, apprenticeship levy. It's actually easier to become an apprentice. Now, obviously, the sort of other side of that coin is that, if you're not, again, if you're getting Bs at A-level, are you going to struggle with your chartered accounting exams? Maybe, and then you might, for example, get fired. But generally speaking, there's a lot of attraction and a lot of motivation, really, to join the apprenticeship program from a number of different perspectives. To be honest, sorry to interrupt you.